Hey, has anybody ever seen these commercials on TV for metal detectors? Okay? Oh, find treasure, get this metal detector, 3 easy payments of whatever, you get this metal, some show you what's in the ground before you dig. There was a guy, just this year, in Staffordshire, England, who lives in a small flat on a disability income, who decided to invest in one of those metal detectors. And he was out because I guess he had a lot of time to kill, and I don't know what his disability was, but he could walk. And so he was out doing the metal detector in a field, and he came across the largest land treasure of gold and silver and artifacts ever discovered. They're still digging it up. Their best guess is that the lowball figure is at least $3 million worth of ancient weapons and helmets and crosses and artifacts made of gold and silver. $3 million is the lowball. It could be 10 times that much money. Now, I don't know about you, but a $110 investment for a $3 million payoff, good investment. What do you say? God's going, I blow that away. I got a better way. You invest your treasure, your talents, in the righteous causes I direct. In your home, in your work, and in your church. You do that, and your return on investment is even greater. First of all, commendation. Well done, good and faithful servant. I wonder if we realize how cool this is. Do you know what I find many people struggle with? An internal voice of condemnation. Well, maybe not you, but maybe. I am such an idiot. Why did I do that? What am I doing with my life? And I cannot believe what a jerk I am. Why did I say that? What am I doing with myself? What am I doing with my life? I'm just such a screw up as a person. There's a little voice of condemnation. And in our culture, we spend all sorts of money to try to get that voice to go away. But could it be that what really drives that voice out more than anything is the whisper of God to someone who's investing their talents in the righteous causes God has directed? The voice of God whispering, going, nice job. You just made me very happy. I'm so pleased with you. You're great. That's why I made you. And something about the inner voice of the Spirit of God just speaking these words of good job tends to drown out the voice of condemnation that we can so easily live with. It's one of the return on investment. Here's another one. Greater opportunities. You were faithful in a few things. I'm going to give you bigger opportunities. I'm going to put you in charge of more stuff. You see, apparently, capitalizing on opportunity, investing our treasure where we can, so that God can use it to advance His purposes, is such a cool thing that God says a great reward of that is bigger and greater opportunity. We can put it this way. What God wants to do is say, if you're willing to invest what you've got within the circle of impact you have right now, that God will bless that by deepening and widening your circle of impact. He will give you more and more opportunity to have deeper or wider impact on other people in this world, and that is how you forge an extraordinary life. Greater opportunities, and lastly, great joy. Come share in your master's happiness. You see, they understood that once the master came back from his business venture and he saw how his business was doing, that he would throw a huge banquet that would last sometimes for weeks. Every day of feasting and partying and music and celebration. And it was just incredible joy. And the people who invested their treasure given to them by the master got to share in that joy. You can almost put it this way. The joy that will be heaven begins to be realized in us now when we invest ourselves in heavenly ventures, trying to advance the causes God has here on earth in the lives of people. The happiest people, the ones that actually have joy in spite of circumstance, are the people whose lives are being given away, invested in doing what God wants done at home, at work, in church. That's just a little slice of the return we get from investing our talents in these righteous causes. I actually have a lot more I want to say at that, but we're going to fly because our story's not quite done. See, our story goes on because there's one guy we haven't talked about yet, right? Then the man who had received the 1 talent came. Master, he said, I knew that you were a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid. And I went out and I hid your talent in the ground. See, here's what belongs to you. His master replied, you wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I had not sown and gathered where I had not scattered seed? Well, then you should have at least put my money on deposit with the bankers, so when I return, I could have received some back with interest. So now take the talent given to him and give it to the one who has 5. And throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And that's the happy ending. This guy didn't invest. He didn't take his treasure. He didn't invest it. And he didn't have a happy ending. He got commendation, no condemnation. Good opportunities, less opportunities. Joy, incredible sadness. What would drive a person? What would make a person not invest the abilities God gave them into the righteous causes that God directs? I think we can learn why from this guy. In fact, I would suggest to you that there are at least 3 clues as to what would keep us from doing that. Those who don't make these investments do so for common reasons. The first one is this. They have a warped view of God. Master, I knew you were a hard man. Oh my goodness, you are almost intolerable to work for. Things aren't done right, you just smack people around. Man, you are tough. So I just hit it so I make sure I didn't lose anything. You know, a lot of people have a really warped view of God. You know what they think? He's so hard to work for. He's hard to please. He's a demeaning, demanding boss. Have a warped view of God. Who's the worst boss you ever had? Can you think of a bad boss? Chuckles, few, all right. When I was a sophomore in high school, I got a job working in some sort of like assembly machine shop outside of Rockford, Illinois. And I went to the little orientation class, and I got introduced to the foreman of the floor. He was going to be my boss. Oh, my goodness. I mean, you couldn't, everything was like, okay, Sanders, you're going to work here, and this is how your machine works, so get it done. I'm sorry, I did get out of that way. Listen, what is wrong with you? Pay attention when I tell you this. Blah, blah, in terms I didn't even understand. And so I just let him go and go, I guess I'll figure it out as I go along. Machine breaks. Sanders, what's the matter? I mean, everything got put on the machine, and no matter what I did, no matter how I did it was always just caught, and you're dumb, and you don't understand, and open your ears. What's wrong with young people nowadays? The third day I was working there, I'm at this machine, had this little round table on it, and 12 little knobs, and my job was to put one part on the knob, another part on the knob, and then it would turn, and the press would put the 2 of them together. And then it would turn, and I'd take that one off, and then I'd replace the other one. And basically, I watched that wheel turn about every 15 seconds, going like that. Now, by the way, if you know the way I'm wired, that's called purgatory.